What's going on, guys? I'm Ryan Roots.
And I'm Allie Roots.
And together, we
are
are
Rally
Rally Roots! So in this video, we're going to be talking about a few things. How to deal with bad buyers, how to not get scammed on eBay,
and how to deal with negative feedback.
A lot of you guys have asked us to talk on this subject, so we decided to do a whole video on it. Getting negative feedback, especially on eBay and on Amazon, can be super disheartening. You know what I mean? Especially when you first start.
But guys, it's not the end of the world. Do not fear. We're going to teach you how to deal with it.
Nice. So first, I wanted to tell you guys a little story. This is a first-hand account of something that happened to us on eBay. When we were new to reselling, we sold it was a Canon lens, right? So like a Canon camera lens, kind of like this one, but a really nice high-end version of this lens. Brand new, that lens that we sold cost around $2,500. What happened is we listed it on eBay. I believe we listed it for around $900.
Because it had a little bit of damage to it.
Yeah, it had a slight bit of damage. Didn't really affect the lens, but it had a little bit of damage to it. And here's what happened. We were contacted through eBay by a potential buyer, and they asked us if we would be willing to do the transaction off of eBay. Now, we knew that that was a no-no. You're not supposed to do business off of eBay, but we kind of needed the money, and we wanted to save that 10% fee.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, we'll do it direct through PayPal. We sold the lens to them for, I believe it was $790. They paid us pretty much immediately through PayPal, and we shipped the lens out to that person. We wrapped it nice and carefully. We shipped it USPS priority mail, and it got to the customer in 2 days. It was going from Florida to California, and it was a nice, easy transaction. Well, 2 days after the buyer received it, we got a case opened up against us through PayPal.
Through PayPal.
Right. And basically what the buyer was saying is that they never received the item. So the funds, the $790, was put on hold immediately in PayPal, and we basically had to deal with the issue, right?
We looked online, we looked on the USPS website. The item was delivered. And even though it was delivered by a government employee, because it's a government entity, it didn't even matter.
So we ended up calling PayPal and getting them on the phone and explaining the situation to them the best that we possibly could. And again, we were new to reselling at this point, so we didn't really know how to deal with the situation. And basically what PayPal said is, listen, you didn't follow our rules. One, you weren't supposed to do the transaction off of eBay. Two, when you sell an item that's over a certain amount of money, you have to put signature confirmation on the item. Otherwise, you're not covered under seller protection.
And three, we sent the item to a buyer with an unverified PayPal address.
So basically what PayPal told us at that point was, we will cover you up to, I think it was $250 that they gave us back, but we lost $500 plus on that transaction. The crazy part was the buyer was really sketchy. We didn't hear back from them. They weren't cooperative with giving us more information from PayPal. They basically just submitted a dispute saying that the item never arrived, and that was the end of it. They won the case.
Know the rules.
Yeah, know the rules.
So you don't get scammed.
Right.
Like us.
Especially on those higher end items, you know, sometimes it's better just to eat the 10%, do the transaction through eBay, and make sure that you're covered.
For us, anything over $300 that we sell on eBay, we choose to do the signature confirmation because we're just nervous about it and we don't want to take that chance.
Right. And buyers actually like that. In the description of the listing on eBay, we'll put item is shipped with signature confirmation so that you know you're going to be getting the item. All right, guys. So next, how to deal with bad feedback. Negative feedback happens on eBay and on Amazon. It's more frequent on eBay just because you do get more feedback on eBay opposed to Amazon. Getting a negative feedback, like Allison said, is not the end of the world. There are ways to deal with it. Even our account, we've probably had, I want to say we've had around 6 or 7 negative reviews on eBay this year, but our feedback is still 99.9%, and it only shows 1 negative feedback. And the only reason why there's even that 1 negative feedback is because the person who left the feedback was on vacation when we asked them to remove it.
When you get a negative feedback, you can always ask the buyer to remove the negative feedback by contacting them. And that we found was the best way to remove negative feedback, was to contact the buyer and resolve that problem ourselves.
So yeah, you can definitely ask the buyer to remove that negative feedback. What's important is to fix the situation before asking them to remove the negative feedback. So you can message them through eBay and first ask them why they left the negative feedback and see if you can fix the issue. Sometimes fixing the issue means refunding the buyer. Sometimes it means partially refunding the buyer. Listen, guys, you're going to lose money sometimes on these transactions, but it's better to eat the money, right, and save your feedback instead of just getting a whole bunch of negative feedbacks. Now, there definitely are situations where if you know for a fact that you are in the right and the buyer is just trying to scam you, fight it, okay? I know that a lot of people just say, refund them and get it over with and move on to the next one.
Yeah, done and done, but...
If it's a large amount of money, if it's something that you know is, not the right thing, fight it. eBay will protect you as long as you are 100% in the right. An example of that, we had a buyer in December, I think, buy a toaster oven from us. It was a $150 toaster oven. 6 months later, 6 months later, the guy said the item wasn't working and they wanted a full refund. Well, our return policy is 60 days on that particular item. So they were well outside of the return policy. We contacted the buyer and we said, listen, sorry, but you are outside of our return policy and we are not going to be able to take the item back and give you a refund. You need to contact the manufacturer and see if they can fix the item.
6 months. We have no idea what that person did to that item. I mean, they could have...
Exactly. So if you do have return policies in place, make sure that you stick to your guns in certain situations. What happened with that situation is the buyer went over eBay's head basically and opened a dispute with PayPal. And just to show you guys that sometimes you can fight it and win, all we did was go to PayPal and submit our return policy and say, please look at this eBay listing. And PayPal looked at the listing, saw our return policy, and immediately sided with us.
Yay!
Yay!
We won that.
So it's kind of like one of those things where you have to gauge your pros and cons. Is it worth fighting? If it is, go ahead and fight it. If it's not worth fighting, just refund the buyer and then ask them to remove the negative feedback.
Now, guys, on to dealing with Amazon negative feedback.
Feedback in general on Amazon is kind of few and far between. For every, let's say, 100 items sold with Amazon FBA, you may get 1 or 2 feedback. It's different than eBay. Amazon buyers don't leave a lot of feedback. So when you do get a feedback on Amazon, it's typically either going to be a good feedback or a bad feedback. There's not a whole lot of in-between feedback on Amazon. The goal on Amazon is to keep your feedback as close to 5 stars as possible. Now, if you do get a negative review on Amazon, the first thing you should do every single time, even if you're in the wrong, is dispute the feedback. A lot of the times with Amazon FBA, just by disputing the feedback, depending on the customer service agent that's looking at the transaction, sometimes they'll just remove it immediately, even if you are, again, in the wrong. But there are certain cases where those bad feedbacks can definitely get removed very quickly. One of those situations is, let's say you have an item that you send to Amazon FBA and they ship it to the customer for you and the customer leaves a negative review saying the shipping was too slow. Okay, that is not your fault, right? That is Amazon's fault. So all you do is you find that transaction, you contact Amazon's customer support and you say, this was an FBA issue, this was not our issue. 100% of the time when that's happened, Amazon looks at it and removes that negative feedback. So that's a really good thing.
What we will say about Amazon is they're excellent at looking at the feedback and being very objective. There's a lot of times when the buyers will leave negative feedback about the item itself and not about the seller or the condition of the item. And whenever we contact Amazon about that, they will remove it because, again, people are leaving feedback about the item and not about us.
Right.
And they don't realize that when they leave that feedback, it's about us. So Amazon will go in and correct that issue.
For sure. But remember this, guys, throughout any situation on eBay or on Amazon, when you get a negative feedback or you're dealing with a mad customer
or scam artist,
right, it's important to make sure that you stay professional. Even if someone's coming at you and attacking you and writing a whole bunch of curses and saying terrible stuff, professionalism wins every single time, guys. Don't go back and say, fuck you, you're the worst thing. Don't do it. It's really not worth it.
Don't get emotional.
Yeah,
Do not
exactly.
ever get emotionally involved at all. And if you're upset about it, wait. to respond. Maybe
True.
if you want to have a drink first. Maybe go for a run. Maybe take a nap. But make
if you're
sure.
Up here, bring it down to here.
And guys, sometimes it really helps to explain you're just a person, or for us, we're just two people.
Right.
We're not this major business, major corporation, huge distributor. And then a lot of times people are a lot nicer because they think that they're getting one up on this corporation when then they realize, oh no, we're just two people, and they don't want to screw over two people. And we've had situations where someone was trying to scam us and we explained, you know, we're just two people, and they backed off. So
especially on places like eBay, a lot of times people think they're just buying items from like Walmart, right? But when you explain to them we are two real people and mistakes do happen, there's been situations where we've sent two buyers the wrong item because they had the same zip code, and
my gosh.
Yeah, we mix their item up, and sometimes again, it's just explaining to the buyers the issue and fixing the issue and being humble about it and moving on, right? So just make sure you keep a level head and you don't overreact, and you will win every single time. And that's it, guys. If you need help with how to handle negative feedback or how to handle bad customers, we can help you with that. Leave a comment, tell us the situation, and maybe we can help you with it. We hope you like this video. We hope you maybe learned something from it.
Yes.
Learn from our mistakes.
Don't make our mistakes. Signature confirmation.
For real, yeah. But again, guys, thanks for watching. I'm Ryan Roots.
And I'm Rally Roots.
And together, we
are
Rally Roots. See you on the next video, guys. Thanks.
Bye, guys.